Hi, I'm Jannik Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Olfner.
It's Marc-Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the
GTL podcast.
Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully. Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. We've got the semi-final that we were all hoping for. It's Novak Djokovic versus Jannik Sinner. I cannot wait for this one because it's the most anticipated matchup in the semi-finals of the Australian Open.
Yeah, it's hard not to argue that Jannik Sinner has been the standout performer this Australian Open. He's gone through every single round without dropping a set. And then you've got the other side of the net, Novak Djokovic, the king of Australia. He never loses semi-finals. He never loses finals in Australia. He's just beaten Taylor Fritz in 4 sets. He's looking really, really good right now. He's upped his level from the early rounds. And I think we're in store for the greatest match of the Australian Open. Looking at the players left, of course, we don't know if Medvedev and Alcaraz are going to win their quarterfinals. They've got to play Hurkacz and Zverev, 2 big serving, tough opponents. But let's talk about just this half, the top half. And we know for sure Djokovic will be playing Sinner. So we've got 2 of the big 4 there. And you could maybe make a case for the two best out of the 4. Maybe Alcaraz has something to say about that because he's been playing so good as well. And I'm just, as you can tell, very excited because I feel this semi-final, we're going to see the winner of the whole Australian Open come from it.
We could possibly be seeing that. We know Djokovic's record in Australia, formidable. He never loses when he gets to this stage of the competition, and he'll be looking to do the same again. He went through with flying colours against Taylor Fritz in a really entertaining matchup. Taylor Fritz really brought the thunder, and Djokovic just responded. I mean, playing an informed Taylor Fritz was not easy, but Djokovic just oozes class, oozes skill, and just the way that he's able to just keep his cool on a tennis court and just direct the ball into the corners makes it look easy. He was hitting effortless winners from different heights, different parts of the court. And Taylor Fritz, that drop shot, he must be sick of seeing it by now. Stumble into the net time and time again, and I'm failing to get it back over.
Yeah, it is remarkable for Djokovic. He's closing in on more and more records. And in semi-finals, as I said, I don't know if you'll bring up the tweet, he never, ever loses them. So yeah. I think we've got the stats here.
1 second, here it is. So,
do you want to read it out?
It is Novak Djokovic in Australian Open semis. It is 10-0 in the Australian Open finals. 10-0. Good luck to all the players remaining. Man, may the odds be forever in your favour. I mean, it's crazy. What's this one? Is this from... that's from a film, isn't it? It's I can't remember the name of it.
It looks like Hunger Games, is it?
That's it, Hunger Games. Yeah, exactly right. That's I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, great movie. And it is sort of like the Hunger Games when Djokovic is playing. He is the one which you expect to win the Hunger Games every time in Australia. But we've got a couple of guys who think that they're going to be a little bit better than him. And they're playing in great form, not really dropping sets. And one of those men is Jannik Sinner, and he looked incredible against Andrei Rublev. Straight sets victory for Jannik Sinner yet again, yet to drop a set in this Australian Open. I think this guy, he means business, doesn't he, JG?
Yeah, Sinner is serious. I was a little bit worried in the second set when he was clutching his stomach. It looked like his abdominals. I'm not sure if you want to read too much into it. There was sometimes today on the backhand side when he's twisting his body that he didn't quite hit through it and went into the net. I counted 5 times on the stream. It was very few and far between, and on the whole, he looked really good. But I am worried if that's anything more serious. I don't know if he'll have to have any scans or anything. I don't know what's happening in the post-match interview because we're doing this so fresh after the victory. But fingers crossed, there's no physical issue with Jannik Sinner going into the Djokovic one. He will have some time to rest now because, of course, they will be playing Friday. So he's got an extra day there to recover and get himself feeling good. He's not dropped a set, like you say. and that means he's played less time on court than probably all of the other players. So, if anything, Sinner is the most prepared for this semi-final than he's ever been. It's not like he's just had a big 5-setter in preparation and playing Djokovic then. And Djokovic, as we know, has played some long sets. He's not really won so many in straight sets as we have seen in the past. He has dropped sets. He has struggled to convert break points as well. There was a period he was 0-15 against Taylor Fritz, which is insane, to be honest. I know Fritz is a great server, and Fritz was saying how after the match he's quite happy with how he played. I don't think he can be much more. I don't think he can do much more than that. This is probably the best you'll ever see Taylor Fritz against Djokovic. He couldn't have done any more than what he did today, and that is his level. He found a set, which is brilliant for him, something he's not really been able to do in the past. I think in Australia, the other time he got 2 sets was when Djokovic had, 10 centimetres rip on his abdomen or something. It was terrible.
Well, he was close in the first set as well. It could have been 2 sets because he had the set points late in the first set, and Djokovic just did what Djokovic does best, and he brought out some of his best tennis to save set points, and eventually went on to take it. The tiebreak king, especially in Australia. Djokovic looked incredible. And talk about tie breaks, good segue onto the tie break in the Jannik Sinner match. I mean, wow. How did Andrei Rublev not win it? He had 2 points on his own serve. And you just think, Rublev's serving's great. But the fact that Jannik Sinner was able to come back from 5-1 down to win 6 points in a row, and the catalyst was he had missed every single forehand cross court on the run in the whole entire first set. I was thinking, Italians on the run. He's looking terrible today on the run.
You mean?
In the second set. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And when he was on the run with that one that got him back in that tiebreak, it was incredible. That actually got the whole crowd going. Yeah. Everybody was... him. Yeah, and you saw Rublev, he was like going mad. He was...
the moment he got back to 6-5... and then Rublev to serve, because there's on serve at that point. You just knew that he'd won the set. And then at 1 set point, he took it instantly.
Yep.
And this is what he does these days. He's not like the old Sinner. He's really filled into his body now. He's looking like a man. I know we've got a big fan of Jannik Sinner, Zenga Tiger, who's a member of the channel who watches a lot. And he's been saying how he feels that Jannik Sinner now has filled into his body. He's looking like a man. And he has every possibility to beat Novak Djokovic. And his words were, he puts him as favourite against Djokovic. Is that overly confident?
I think it is overly confident. That's the words of an Italian, I think you're hearing there. But I think that the one thing that was good to see, because we've looked at Rublev and Sinner in parallel, really, throughout their career, they've always been good in events and gradually growing. Rublev was maybe slightly ahead of Jannik Sinner a couple of years ago, winning more events. But now we're seeing the cool head of Jannik Sinner in big situations compared to the erratic nature of Andrei Rublev.
And nothing better to show this than how he's performed in all of his other quarterfinals. Rublev now is 0-10, and we've got the full list of losses here on the screen. It starts from 2017, where he lost to Rafael Nadal at the US Open. He then lost to Medvedev in 2020, Tsitsipas 2020, Medvedev 21, Cilic 22, Tiafoe the US Open 22, Djokovic, Daniil, and now Jannik Sinner. So, of course, all 10 of them are excellent players.
Yeah.
You'd have to be looking at that Francis Tiafoe one and saying that's the one what got away. He was the big favourite, and that is the one where he could have done better. However, it was a very inspired Francis Tiafoe who was playing some exceptional tennis that tournament. Yep. I think only Alcaraz just about managed to beat him to stop his run. And Cilic at the time was, it's an old version of Cilic. That maybe was also a beatable one. Aside from that, I'm looking at the names and they are tough. And if you want to be a Grand Slam semi-finalist, you have to beat some of these big names. The difference is with Sinner now, he's already turning that corner. He's not played in that many quarterfinals. I forget what the stat was yesterday. What was it? 1 or 2 or 3? Not many.
Not many.
And
no.
he's now winning some. He's getting to semis. He got to a semi at Wimbledon against Djokovic, for example.
It's impressive, and you just see that he's levelling up. The thing that I'd note looking at down all those results, which is quite clear to me, is Rublev rarely getting a set in a lot of them either. I know that they're very good, a lot of the opponents that he's playing, but there's a lot of tie breaks in there as well, and he's losing a lot of all close sets that he's unable to get it over the line. And that's the one thing that Jannik Sinner, I said it earlier on during the match, the turning point for me for Jannik Sinner was at the midpoint of last year, and then he came up against Daniil Medvedev in 2 finals back to back. The first final he played him in, there was no breaks of serve, and it was all down to tie breaks. And Jannik Sinner held his nerve better in the tie breaks, played a better tie break, and ended up winning in 2 tie break sets. That was when he turned the corner for me.
Yeah, tie breaks are so important. Looking at there, he's not won a single tie break in a quarter final, Rublev, and he's played in quite a few of them. So pretty insane. And that's what he needs to change. But enough of him. He's out. Let's talk about Sinner Djokovic.
Yes.
And we'll get into our predictions shortly. Before we do, let's have a look at some of their head-to-head. So, Djokovic leads the head-to-head 4-2, but Sinner won the most recent meeting. I believe that was the Davis Cup one, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
And then at the ATP final, Sinner did beat him in the group, is that right? And then
That's
Djokovic
correct.
beat him in the final when it mattered. So,
Yeah.
they've been going toe-to-toe with each other. It's been really close. That's the way I would sort of play it. That was on an indoor hard court, though. This is going to be slightly different in Australia. He hasn't lost a set in this event so far. We spoke about that. Djokovic is on a 33-match winning streak in Melbourne. The last time they played in a Grand Slam was the semi-finals of Wimbledon, where Novak won. Any more? Scroll down.
I'd have a little scroll down. Oh, yeah, there's one last little bit. Since
then, Jannik has beaten him twice. Who wins? If you go down to the image, we'll get into the prediction soon. But what do you make of some of them stats?
I really like the stats because I think it just highlights everything that we need to know, which is Novak Djokovic, a 33-match winning streak in Melbourne. This guy, you really have to be the top level to be able to beat him. And you have to hope his level drops a little bit because this isn't a 3-set match. Jannik Sinner has beaten him, but it's not been over 5 sets. That's what you've got to remember here. Beating Djokovic in a 3-set match is possible. We've seen many people do it. Beating him in 5, there's not that many people can get it done, and definitely not get it done when you go to 5. So if Sinner wants to get this done, I think he needs to avoid going to 5.
Yeah, and Jim Courier, after the match, asked Jannik Sinner how he feels about facing Novak Djokovic. The question was, now you've beaten him twice, how does that change your outlook in this match? And Jannik replied, I'm really lucky to face him again. This is one of the biggest events in the world. Happy I can play against the number 1. He won here sometimes, and everyone obviously laughed because he's won so many times. And Jannik then said, it's going to be tough. The only thing I can control is I'll give my 100%. I'll fight for every ball. We'll see what the outcome will be. And brilliant. Fight and talk. He's going to fight for everything in this match. And I believe if he does fight for everything right to the end and he doesn't have any physical issues, Djokovic, I am certain, will not win in straight sets. That's one thing I can give with certainty. We're not going to see Djokovic steamroller Jannik Sinner.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlikely, especially seeing how good he is in a tie-break. And holding serve.
I'm directing that at you, Ben, because you've been giving it the big one off stream earlier to me, saying that you reckon Djokovic is going to win in straight sets. And it has rolled me up a little bit because let's see if you put your money where your mouth is. You keep giving me the talk. You keep giving me the talk all the time. And after what I've seen this whole tournament, if Sinner has no physical issue, there's no way Djokovic is going to beat him in straight sets. I think that's disrespectful to Jannik Sinner.
Well, the last time they met in a semi-final, what was the score?
At Wimbledon. And this is not the same Jannik Sinner. He's learnt a lot from then. He's improved. He's grown into his body.
Might be too big a moment for him. We don't know yet. This is what I mean. We got our predictions video coming up later. Well, I think it's either later on or tomorrow. So make sure to join us for the actual prediction.
The prediction we're going to do now, Ben.
Are we going to do it now? What? We're going to fill in the spreadsheet?
We're not going to do the spreadsheet stuff because we've already finished that. There's not enough matches for this.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to do a big one.
No, we're not doing that. But we will give our predictions. Maybe now, then, if you're ready.
Interesting.
Are you ready?
We're going to be doing this. You've surprised me. I didn't know if you want to go through these last few tweets or... All right, we'll go through these couple more just because it was quite funny. Djokovic after his match, his new best bud on the tour, who he blew a kiss to during his match. Of course, it's Nick Kyrgios. They're best friends these days. Who would have thought this years ago? Djokovic and Kyrgios.
It is strange.
It is very weird. But yeah, read out this one. It says, there's a tree you go to in the Royal Botanical Gardens. Can you show me which tree that is? I need to get healthy because I'm sick of you winning on this court. And Novak says, I'll show you the tree. You can't tell anyone. It's a big secret. You got to take it off your shoes and climb to the highest point and hang upside down on one of the highest branches for 33 minutes and 3 seconds. Then you're going to win a slam. Do you reckon he'll be able
This
to
relationship is crazy. I feel like it's a bit of a bromance brewing, and yeah, I thought it was quite funny from Djokovic. Obviously, I don't know much about this tree.
I don't
Did he go to visit this tree, or?
Well, by the sounds of it, it must be something he's told him in confidence, maybe. And now that's the secret to winning the Australian Open, maybe. Maybe I think they need a bit more than that, Kyrgios, to be able to.
Well, I'm
win
sure
it.
there's going to be a lot of people visiting this tree after this interview. So
Imagine if you see loads of people hanging upside
everyone hanging
down.
off it.
Yeah, they got their all upside down, and then they all come back next year. You got a whole fresh bunch of players on the tour who are all challenging for the Australian Open. That'd be entertaining, wouldn't it?
It would be, and I'm hoping this semi-final is also entertaining. Let's get into the prediction. It's me versus Ben. It's our prediction time. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Make sure to like this video as well. We will be bringing you the match live. And now it's time for the prediction. Should I give the button?
Yeah, go on then.
Right, we're going to be very in-depth, Ben, with these predictions. So I want the set score and how it's going to play out.
It's really tough for me.
We do know this is going to be the day session as well. If that
Yeah.
changes anything for you.
I think it makes it tougher for Novak Djokovic, if I'm honest. That is a one telling factor that I didn't really take into consideration when I was bragging to you earlier on today.
Backpedaling.
Djokovic, you got to remember he's sick this week. He was nearly throwing up against Manarino at the back of the court on the changeover, and he still double bageled him even whilst he was sick. Jannik Sinner is a completely different player. I mean, he's levels above Manarino. I feel that the first set is going to be close, and I think Jannik Sinner is going to win it on a tie-break, if I'm honest. After what I've just said in that last bit, I've convinced myself that tie-breaks and Sinner is where he's going to get it done. However, I think that Djokovic is going to come back. I think the second set he'll settle in. Jannik Sinner's level will drop slightly. Djokovic takes the second set with a singular break. Then we go into the third set. I think that it's going to be more of the same, I think. I think Djokovic will take this set, but I think it will be slightly closer. I think this will be like a 7-5 Djokovic in the third. Jannik Sinner gets fired up in the fourth and takes the fourth set, I think.
So you're going for Sinner now to take 2 sets. Earlier,
I'm changing it.
Why are you flip-flopping so much? You're telling me, Djokovic's going to win this straight set's easy. You come on here and you bottle it.
That's not bottling it. I didn't know it was a day session, so it's just different factors you got to take into a consideration. Plus, I think if it does go to 5, Djokovic has the advantage, and that's when, if we go to the 5th set, I think it will be a comfortable 5th set, like a 6-2 to Novak Djokovic.
Okay, so you're going for Djokovic in 5. This is how I see it playing out. I think Sinner will come out the traps very fast. He'll win the first set 6-3. He'll then win the second set in a very tight one, maybe a tie break, so it'll be 2 sets to love up. Djokovic will force the comeback and he'll win the third set. This one being a 6-3 Novak Djokovic. Everyone then preparing for Djokovic in 5. It's feeling like the Wimbledon one. Sinner's going to say, no, that's not happening today. And he's going to win the 4th set 7-5. So Jannik Sinner will be winning this semi-final. We're going to be seeing Jannik Sinner in the final. And he's going to beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. It's going to happen exactly like I've said it. You've heard it here first.
Djokovic, record destroyed.
Yeah,
No
Just
way.
like that.
Not having that. Let us know in the comment section if you agree with me or if you agree with JG. Want to hear your thoughts and your predictions too.
So to confirm, you've got Djokovic in 5 and I've got Sinner in 4. Let us know your thoughts. This is our prediction. Please join us for the match. We're going to let you go. Thank you, everyone. Like and subscribe. And let's go. Jannik Sinner. He's going to do it. Come on.
Hit him on, Nole!